So hello, everybody. Roger Green here from the Academy of Healing Nutrition, and I'm with Nam Singh, one of the principal faculty members in our training program, which we call the Longevity Diet. And it's a 40-year-old curriculum where we have never had to change anything in this curriculum because we're drawing on 6,000-year-old traditions of Taoist herbal medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic, and also cultures of longevity, where they prove that they can eat and live in their communities well over 100, healthy children, no degenerative disease. So the Academy of Healing Nutrition brings all of that together into a training program where we teach you how to integrate those guidelines and principles and ingredients, and developing the practical skills to be able to integrate that into your life, into your lifestyle. That word integration is really, really important in this day and age because people are flooded with trendy diets, this, that, and the other. Some of them are quite extreme. And this whole idea of being able to integrate that's sustainable, easy to use, easy to understand, but also not just on a superficial level, we take you to that deep level in this training, in the sense that we start to talk about the root causes of illness. Now, you know, in the West, their medicine system, bless its soul, it treats the symptoms. That's primarily what they get up for, and that's the whole, you know, generally the whole protocol was to treat that symptom. And that usually comes with, you know, pharmaceuticals and so forth. And of course, that's going to be a big front and big back sometimes, you know, with the side effects. I think everybody is pretty much aware of this, right? And so we're going to start with a little discussion about our approach to illness and also chronic disease, in the sense that in Chinese medicine, we look for the underlying root cause of illness, right? And the symptoms, right? And we, for instance, we look at the core energy systems of the body, which have been thoroughly mapped with Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic understanding. And of course, we integrate Western biochemical science into that. But these core energy systems, for instance, the basic yin and yang of the body, how it manifests, the organ systems, for instance, that's where you learn the 5 elements, the wood, the fire, earth, metal, and water, because they are the organ systems and they relate to certain foods, certain herbs. And when they get deficient or troubled, these illnesses, acute and chronic, start to appear. So we train our students also in levels of health assessment so that they can start to gauge these underlying causes, and then train them to be coaches where step by step they can take their clients through an easy to adapt approach, one step at a time, right? With improving the quality of their food and lifestyle, and gently getting rid of the negative influences and bringing in these positive influences, right? And so we're training our students both in the theory and philosophy of food as medicine, but we also have a strong practical training within our online training, right? And once a year, Nam Singh and I get together and do a live 3-day event in New York City. It starts on Thursday night, which is a free introduction, April the 24th, and then 25, 26, 27, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is devoted to practical training with integrating the tonic herbs that have been used for thousands of years. And Nam Singh is one of the very unique individuals on this planet who has an amazing history with this, for instance, growing up in a Taoist monastery in Taiwan for many, many years of his life, and deeply understanding the food energetics and the herbs and the culinary herbs that we use, in the sense that there's several categories of herbs, major, minor, etc. And of course, there's the medicinal herbs that you might get at a Chinese herbalist for illness. We're going to be cooking with, and you'll be able to taste and understand the energetics of the culinary herbs. And this year, there's going to be a focus on the tonic herbal soups, right? And the teas, right? Integrating these herbs. But just backtracking a little bit, I'm going to introduce you to Nam Singh, and we're going to have a little discussion about his work with working with clients, getting them to understand the deeper sort of energetics of what's going on in their health. So, Nam Singh.
Yeah.
How you doing there?
Good, good.
So just a little bit of your background, Nam Singh, and then we'll go into a little bit of how we use this understanding of the root causes, and then how we use the tonic herbs in the culinary arts.
Well, my introduction to Chinese medicine wasn't anything that I actually sought out or knew that was going to happen. It just sort of evolved, sort of, and through just like regular life, you go through situations. I happen to be raised in a military family, which brought me to Taiwan and met the right people, basically. Befriended the right friends of my grandfather, who got me into the school and on a trial basis, and it just seemed to work out after a year. And the interesting thing was, it's a very different kind of training compared to Western, even though it was focused on a very traditional lifestyle based in Taoist science. I noticed that there didn't seem to be a forcefulness when it came to the teachings. It was more like they were trying to figure out for each and every student what their destiny was. And of course, at that time, being so young, you don't think about that. You don't know exactly what's going on. You're just doing what you're told. So after being there for many years and going back and forth, it seemed that I was being courted to go into Chinese medicine. Also what was interesting is practically all the teachers were extremely old, and most of their training, especially when it came to medicine, was done through apprenticeship. Earth Nourishing School of Chinese Medicine is complete as a complete system, as a complete practice, and it has all the esoteric aspects of Chinese medicine. They were not left out. They were not looked at as superstition or as not having any meaning. Oh, there's 8 limbs to this particular style of medicine. So it's very deep. We're not just looking at the superficial aspects. We take it into consideration, but really it's like an arrow to the target. We're really going to the core of the situation and trying to keep the patient or the client on track so that they can give us all the information that's necessary as opposed to talking around a situation. So it involves psychology as well. So this thing of getting to the point and not getting distracted by situations in people's lives, getting to the point of why this imbalance is here, why is it reoccurring, why is it staying. And as one of my teachers used to say, a person will get well when they get tired of being sick. Which is
Exactly.
actually, it seems funny, but it's actually quite true. And I'm finding that, especially in the West, some people befriend their illnesses to the point to where they're actually um, befriending their illness and not really willing to let it go for certain lengths of time. And some people never let it go to the point to where it develops into a situation where it actually kills them.
Yeah, goes deeper into a chronic level. I mean, essentially, we're always about at least getting the person back to what we call normal health and to prevent the illness, the penetration of sort of negative energies going deeper into the body, into this chronic state. And then once that's normalized, to actually take them into what we call radiant health. And radiant health is, you know, you've got extra energy, your immune system is strong, you can deal with a lot more stress. Psychologically, you're clear, you're in touch with your purpose. Now, you really need these tonic herbs to take the sort of the dietary protocols to the next stage. So tell us about how you integrate some of the culinary herbs into these protocols.
Well, the thing of it is that the culinary herbs are the original superfoods that is so popular today. Um, the one thing about in the West, we get so caught up on the fads and things about super this and super that, and then it gets to a point, and then it dies down, and then it's off to something else, and it's just sort of chasing after all these so-called super things, the super fads. But in China, these culinary herbs are things that are taken daily. And then when we talk about tonic, you must understand that that there are certain different levels of tonification. There are times where you don't need to tonify so much, or depending on your age, you don't need to tonify at all. But these particular herbs that I'm specializing in, and which will be featured in the class, are the type of herbs that can be taken over long periods of time, and they're not as medicinal in their flavor, and also they don't have any real awful side effects like some of the medicated herbs that are used in formula and prescription. So these are the herbs that one's grandmothers and mothers and then daughters learn about, and then their sons, if they're interested in cooking, they learn about, and they're very common, just as some are as rare as can be, but some of them are as common as carrots and potatoes and lettuce. But the thing of it is that these things are ingested, you know, 3 times a day sometimes in a dish, or maybe 1 time a day, or twice. So a lot of them are considered almost food. But in Chinese culture, we don't separate food from medicine. They're equal. What is medicine is food. What is food is medicine.
Exactly. Yeah. So in the workshop, we are going to be teaching people, for instance, the yin and yang. For instance, we have cooling herbs, we have warming herbs, and this is a direct application to your constitution. Sometimes people get overheated, sometimes they have cold hands, cold feet. Also, by knowing this philosophy, you know how to eat with the seasons, like in wintertime, which is a yin season, you need those more warming herbs, right, when it's snowing outside. And then in the summertime, it's easy to overheat because it's already hot. That's the yang season. And then when people take too many heating foods, they need the teas and the herbs to adjust to that normal temperature that the human body only has a certain little spectrum of temperature and acid and alkaline, right? And we use terminology like blood deficiency. That's something to where the students begin their understanding about tonic herbalism, because what happens is that's just not anemia, right? When the body is not nourishing itself deeply, then the body-mind connection starts to suffer with things like malnutrition, dry symptoms, dry eyes, dry lips. When you don't have that right sort of blood moisture there, it starts to affect the organs. It affects the cycle for a woman. It affects your sleeping pattern because the lubrication, the blood, the essence, these are more yin energies that need to be nourished to actually have good, deep sleep. So we work primarily on this deep nourishment idea of really building up the qi or the yang energy and the blood or the yin energy of the body. So these soups that you're going to be training people, and we're actually going to be doing over 12 nourishing soups, uniquely developed by Nam Singh from over 40 years of teaching and counseling. It's going to provide you with a real variety of soups that you can use seasonally, or you can use for specific conditions that you might have. And we're also going to be exploring some of the herbal teas that are easy to make and so forth. And within this training, there's an optional Monday tour of Chinatown, where you can see firsthand, where to buy the herbs. Nam Singh can talk about the quality and again, how to integrate this into your health protocols, right? I have here, Nam Singh, just start the little discussion here. I have astragalus, which is the number one kind of, you could say, immune strengthening herb, easy to use in the teas, and our students get to know how to integrate it into stocks. Tell us a little bit more about how you use astragalus.
Well, when it comes to herbal soups, there's many avenues you can use, but one of the best ways to use a lot of these tonic herbs is to introduce them in your stock, because then it's in there. So, and if you add other things later on, that's just making it better. But astragalus, for one, is very good for strengthening what we refer to as the Wei Qi, your
Yeah.
the Qi that protects you from the external. It's very, very important herb. They're doing a lot of research on this herb. It is a life strengthening and inducing a longevity type of herb. It's very mild in its taste. Matter of fact, I suggest for some people, especially people who have a tendency to be out and about, runners and all this kind of thing, or if you're walking in cold weather, or just you're a very physical type of person, to just make a nice tea of that and put that in your water bottle instead of just having plain water, because the energetics of it is important. And the thing of it is, having these things over a period of time is very important. You don't just do it one day and then that's the end of it. You just like you don't just drink water once a day. So it's very important to be consistent. But astragalus is a chi herb. It strengthens chi, it moves chi, it keeps it from becoming stagnant. It's kind of like a rooter herb.
Exactly. I have, some other herbs here. For instance, I have the Chinese licorice, which
Mm.
is more warming and yang in nature. And often we put this into certain teas because some energetics of the herbs are amazing. Like this really drives those nutrients from other herbs into the body, and it helps to clear what we call the channels, where people can get a lot of stuck energy as well, right?
Wow.
And I've noticed that you love working with the licorice. Just tell us about some of the energetics with
Well, the
licorice.
one thing about licorice is that it's used in a lot of the formulas, because some of the formulas can be very strong, and so this helps to kind of uh, keep it from going too far. It has a tendency to balance the formula, but it is one of the it's a very nice tonic herb and has many different uses. I mean, in Chinese herbology, we usually use a combination of herbs, but there are sometimes you can just like mix a little bit of licorice, and you can mix a little bit of astragalus, a little bit of romania all together, and come up with a nice little tonic for yourself.
Exactly. That's one of my favorite herbs is the Rehmannia, Rehmannia. Now, this this is cooked Rehmannia, and you'll learn about not only yin and yang and the five elements, the organ groups and their associated uh, temperatures, how they could get imbalanced, what shows up when they get imbalanced, but more importantly, what herbs relate to the five elements, and what we refer to as the three treasures, heaven, earth, and humanity, or in the body. That is your deep constitutional energy that we call the Jing, Jing. And then more around the solar plexus and the whole functioning of digestion and assimilating. That's how we take food and energy from the environment, from the cosmos, and transform that into usable components of blood and qi. So that's the second treasure, is your blood and qi, and the third is your mind, your spirit, your soul. Or just on a mundane level, your mental functioning. And so you'll learn the herbs that relate to the three treasures. And this idea of Jing is your constitutional deep life force. And in the longevity arts, this is very, very important to understand and learn how to make these certain teas and soups to deeply invigorate the Jing again, because it can be part of you recovering from chronic illnesses, and as well as adding decades, absolute decades, to your life. Now, we have the modern biohacking community that's pretty obsessed with the Western approach and technologies. And we actually incorporate that into the training. We've got a module that is basically a biohacking module, but the beauty of ours is that we can take East and West. When I go to these conferences, nobody is mentioning this humble little herb here that is cheap as anything, and we would call this one of the #1 longevity herbs in our culinary arts here. And it's easy to make a coffee-like flavor from this. You take the Rehmannia, you take half a stick of astragalus, you can add a little bit of the licorice, and if you like, a couple of drops of vanilla, and you've got a beautiful, very strengthening and building up your energy tonic tea. And very, very good for sleep problems, right? Very good for building up the blood, very good for the kidney energy. When you understand what the kidney energy does, there's a whole world of energies and emotions that you start to learn about in terms of the five elements in Chinese medicine. So this workshop, we're exploring this year a lot of the tonic soups. Nam Singh, we're going to be covering about 20 herbs in this coming workshop. What are some of your favorite herbs that are coming up in the April workshop? And what's one or two of your favorite soups that we're going to be presenting? And don't forget, tasting.
Well, actually, there's 15 15 different types of soups, including the teas. And like I said, some of the herbs that are used are common, some are not so common, and then there's a few very rare herbs in there. The ones that we've mentioned so far are the most common. But things like ginseng is used more sparingly because it requires a certain type of dietary regime in order to get the best benefit. But just for an example, some of the herbs that we'll be talking about will be herbs like cordyceps, red dates, dragon eye fruit, dioscorea, black dates, red dates, honeysuckle flower, white figs, um, sweet almond kernels, lily bulbs. Something as exotic as abalone, which is dried, wood ear fungus, lily bulbs, pearl barley, foxnuts, things like those. And all of these things are combined with all of these herbs are combined with a protein, either either chicken, pork, beef, lamb, whatever type of protein that you want. If you're a
Or fish,
vegetarian,
for instance, fish, if you're more vegetarian inclined. Well, you
if
don't use fish much, do you, in these soups because it breaks down. But what
well,
about a fish
fish is
stock?
very delicate, but you can use
Yeah,
fish bone for the
yeah,
stock. You see that's it. And if you're going to use fish, you would add that like the last maybe 10 minutes of cooking so that it has texture and flavor. So,
yeah.
but the bone of fish is good, and the bone of some of these other proteins are really good too.
The other thing about the soups, that don't forget, is a great way of using animal and vegetable food in the balance.
right.
Yeah,
And for those who are vegetarians and vegans, it's more work for you because when you separate certain things that from the diet, you have to make up for it in some way, and sometimes it's never complete. So it requires a lot more understanding of food energetics. Just to let you know, in my way of thinking, it's a little irresponsible to just say, "Oh, I'm going to be a vegan because that sounds good and it's really healthy for you." But you really need to know about energetics, your personal energetics, the energetics of what you're putting in, and also what you're lacking and how to make up for it. So it requires a little bit more studious work, but
right. And
nevertheless,
supplementation too, don't forget.
supplementation,
There's a
yeah.
lot of nutrition deficiencies happening there.
Right, you might have to take supplements as well, and also for people who have deficiencies, like people that don't have a spleen. Um, in Chinese medicine, we always say that if that ever happens, which you hope you never have to lose your spleen, is that you always have to function as if you have one, but you also have to be very, very delicate about your how what types of foods you eat and how that's digestible, what the digestibility is. Because when you're missing a spleen, you have to be very careful about foods that are very hard to digest. And that
Just for definition here, folks, see the spleen and the stomach part of the earth element. And remember, we don't look at these organs mechanically, like in terms of anatomy and breaking them down. We look at them energetically. And the earth element is the core of your digestive ability. We call it the spleen yang. Yang energy transforms food into blood. It's your digestive power. It's your digestive fire, is your spleen yang. So just remember, when we talk about organs, it's a whole new way of looking at our inner life. Carry on, Nancy.
Yeah, it's almost an ethereal world that you're going to learn about. So as I was saying about having an absent spleen, the thing is you must be very careful about foods that are hard to digest, and that's where herbal soups and juk, which is a congee, which is a kind of cereal, really help because it's cooked to the point to where it's so easy to digest that basically you're eating pure energy. That's what happens. Your digestive system doesn't have to work hard at all to digest it because it has been cooked so long that it's just a substance, but it's pure energy. It's like pure light, and it distributes in the body or assimilates in the body extremely easily.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, folks, so just to summarize, this is a live event that's held it's just once a year. Our Academy Healing Nutrition is an online training that we basically take folks on a journey, a 1-year training course that you can read about. But this is like a kind of like a one-off thing that we do. It gets quickly booked out. We have our Lumi, we have graduate students, but it's open to the public because the way we teach, the way we share information, it's very easy to start to understand this. Very, very direct experience, right? So, and it's also practical. We have a fantastic workbook written by Nam Singh and all the recipes prepared, right? Just note, if you look at the link down below this, you'll see the link to all of those details where you can register and sign up. And we have an early payment discount by April the 10th. And we also have an online viewing experience this year that you can also sign up for, right? So do check out the details and the flyer from the link. And any final words, Nam Singh?
Well, I hope to see a lot of people.
It was fun. These workshops are a lot of fun. We get to know a whole new group of people. We're hanging out together for 3 to 4 days. And it really, the bonding is very, very strong. And people are, just check out some of the testimonials that we've got. And, we're teaching people lifetime information, that they can use for the rest of their life with their family, their children, their neighbors, and of course, integrate into their, health coaching as well. I mean, we're the only curriculum that focuses on this in the world. It's a completely unique training. You don't get this anywhere else, right? And Nam Singh is an absolute master at the culinary arts and Chinese medicine, etc. So I highly recommend it. And we'll see you in April.
Now,
So
another thing too is just come with an open mind. I know it might seem foreign, but the thing that I've noticed about anywhere I've traveled, people who work with herbs and food and so forth, it's universal. They might have different names of how to explain certain thing, but we're talking about universal laws here. We're not talking about anything that is so esoteric that you can't relate to it. So having an open mind and just being relaxed and not looking at it from a point of view of this seems foreign and all this kind of thing. Just relax and let the information manifest within you very easily.
exactly. Okay, folks, thanks for listening in, and we'll see some of you in April. Don't forget to book early. It is, when we say limited spaces, it really is limited spaces because it is a practical workshop where you get to taste all of this every day, and so it is a limited group. So, but there is also an online, you can watch it online this year, something that we've decided to integrate because we are a global training course. We have students from all over the world, and pretty much we are one of the longest established food as medicine curriculums on the planet, 40 years established. And most of the teachers have been working with this for 40 years as well. So you really get to know us, and, there's time for personal integration, and there's a few little options also. We have the Theraphi, which is the plasma healing device. It's going to be in the workshop. It's free sessions. These sessions are usually, if you go to a Theraphi center, they're usually $90, right? And we've got that free Thursday night introduction. And then we've got the optional Chinatown tour on the Monday, which I highly recommend. We've been doing them for over 20 years now in New York. So, folks, thanks for hanging in there. We'll see you soon. Bye, Nam Singh.
Bye.